Friday, get up. Our next stop, Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders expected to play in tomorrow's preseason finale against the Rams. Yesterday, he was asked about that entertainers versus competitors comment that Dillon Gabriel, another rookie quarterback there, made during an in-game interview last week that some interpreted as a dig at Shedeur Sanders. Here's what he said.
Spoke with him. He said, "Nah, bro, that wasn't." He said that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, "Nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me, you know. So, yeah.
So did you believe him when he told you wasn't on you?
Did I believe him?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did, he didn't. That's not going to change my life in any way.
Interesting at minimum, right? Like, we play this game sometimes, something or nothing. So this whole little kerfuffle, if indeed it even is one, is it something or nothing?
I mean, it's nothing. Guys actually fight. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like guys actually throw fists in football practice sometimes. So there's tension. I've been a part of position battles that aren't the backup quarterback position battle. Yeah. And there's tension. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't mean anything. So I think it's nothing. It was clear that neither of them. So Gabriel obviously said something that could be interpreted the way that we're all interpreted. Shedeur had the opportunity to shut it down. He chose not to. I don't care about it, and I think that he doesn't care either, but I don't know. This is not going to get in the way of anything.
I mean, look, I have 2 points here. One, I don't think that Dillon Gabriel, for whatever it's worth, I don't think he was taking a shot. This is not Taylor Swift at an award show dropping Easter eggs for Taylor Swift 13. Like, That's not what's happening here.
I was about to say, Taylor got beef? What happened?
Yeah, no. She's just sending messages that way. I don't think that's
could
what
be
was
saying we've got, if you're going to use a Taylor reference, then we could say we got bad blood.
Right,
we used to have mad love, but then you made a deep cut. I mean, I know the words to the song.
They never had mad love.
This is your fault, Brooke. This is your fault.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
For all the Swifties that are tuning in.
Right.
But here's the other thing. I really appreciate the way that Shedeur handled that back and forth with the reporter, because I can tell you, as a reporter sitting in that seat, you want to build a rapport with the quarterback, and you want to me, if he had sniped right back at him and been short and been kind of bristly at it, then I would think, oh, there's more there. Oh, something's going on. I almost think he did shut it down with the tone that he had. Because if he had been, again, curt, then I would think, okay, I need to keep digging. I need to ask more follow-up questions.
All right, so Graziano, here's what I want to throw, because you've been there and you've talked to everybody involved, and you have a much better sense than I do of where everyone's head is involved in this situation. There's one part of me that thinks these are two rookie quarterbacks vying for a backup job, so why in the world would this be significant to anyone anyway? There's another part of me that thinks this isn't just that, though. Shedeur Sanders is not your run-of-the-mill fifth-round quarterback. He's just not. And what winds up happening with him is going to be of enormous interest to a lot of people. It may or may not be of great consequence to the Cleveland Browns' future, but it is of enormous interest to people. Sure. And Dillon Gabriel is the guy who was unexpectedly drafted in the third round ahead of him. So there's a uniqueness to the situation that makes it interesting to me one way or the other.
I would agree. I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship or whether they have one. But yeah, the situation is you have a fairly wide open competition here, because the starter is Joe Flacco, who's 40 years old and not the future of the franchise. Kenny Pickett, who's in front of both of them on the depth chart, hasn't been able to stay healthy. So at this point, it looks like one of the two rookies is going to be the backup on week one's game against the Bengals. So they are in a competition. I don't think this whole thing has nothing to do with that competition.
Correct.
But I think to Brooke's point about how do you carry yourself in the building, I think what we've heard about Shedeur Sanders has all been positive in that front. So, obviously showing maturity there and handling a weird situation probably the right way.
Not his first rodeo. I mean, he's experienced it from his dad. He's been around. He's been a high-profile athlete for a long time. But listen, the competition was on when you drafted me. So we understand.
Yeah.
Men can be teammates and be respectful, but it's still a competition. At the end of the day, it's not over till I win, to quote Les Brown. You know what I mean? And right now, Shedeur quietly is trying to become the starting quarterback, because this is his probably best opportunity to be a starter in this league, because all I have to do is go around a 40-year-old guy that's not going to be here, another guy that's a franchise guy that they're going to get out of here as soon as they can, and I got this third-round guy in front of me. Oh, that's barbecue chicken.
At the end of the day, You just said it right. Kenny Pickett's not healthy. So one of these two guys is going to be a hit away from playing 2 weeks from Sunday, right?
Unless it's Tyrod Taylor who's also there. This is the weirdest situation, quarterback situation in the league.
Yeah, we can't predict it, but I think the point that is important is that the Shedeur thing is going to make it, like, we all assume that it's nothing, but the fact that there's some, like, multiplying factor when you involve Shedeur makes it a little bit more interesting and makes it a possibility to build into something more interesting.
Not Tyrod Taylor.
You meant Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
I knew what you
I'm
meant.
about to say, what happened? Break it on.
They did bring everybody
He's supposed to
in.
be on the Jets. Okay, much more football of the NFL variety on this football. These numbers and say, look how well he has played, and they will say, so Dominique, he should be the starter immediately. Why not start him week 1? What would you say in response to that?
Well, he's just coming out and getting his head bounced off the turf would be one response. But generally, I think that whatever decision you make for this team should be right now about developing and building on the promise that Jackson Dart has shown. So if starting him week 1 is the best thing for his development, then I'd be all in for that. If trying to find a soft spot in the schedule, which the Giants don't seem like they're going to have very many of this year, is if that's the priority, then you should focus towards that. But right now, what he's done so far, I think, in practice, they should be throwing the most complicated and complex things possible at him just to test him. Because it's never really a surprise to the coaches and the teammates, the quarterbacks that play well, because they show that they can do it in practice.
That first game against the Commanders is an interesting one. The vibes there have not been as good. There's suddenly a lot of people who are questioning them. At the Cowboys, suddenly that may not involve Micah Parsons. You never know what a schedule is actually going to be until the season begins. All of that said, Bart hosts a New York sports talk radio show, so this is obviously a huge topic of conversation. I am of the opinion the Giants are much better than people realize. Their defense could be really scary good, and this kid, whenever it is that he gets on the field, I know it's just the preseason, but so far so good.
This is a very nuanced situation. You got to try and thread the needle, right? You have a coach that won 3 games last year that came with a big plan, who people thought was maybe on the hot seat. But, when you talk about the Giants and the improvements they made on the defensive side of the ball, Dual Carter, they have, a great defense. They can win that way. But they also have the hardest schedule in the NFL as well. And what happens if you're losing games early? You have to try and sell the future, which could mean a coach would put Jackson Dart out before he's ready, right? Do you want to put him on a safe spot against the defending champions twice? Like, do you want to put him against the Kansas City Chiefs? Put him in pressure that way? So it's tough because Dayball has to sell the future, because if the Giants are in the top 5, despite whatever Archie said, senior, it's going to be quarterbacks there that people deem are generational talents.
There are a lot of really good quarterbacks in next year's draft. Yeah, there's Lenore Sellers and there's Cade Klubnik. There's a bunch of guys, including maybe Arch Manning. But between now and then, this whole business of the coach being on the hot seat, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
That does not sit well when you were trying to develop a young quarterback.
Right, and we don't know the ownership's current thinking on that.
Well,
I think they're
They won